there's lots of different ways to protect yourself. Just remember, as a human being, right, money is not important. It's a few other things, right? You need shelter, you need barterability, you need trade, you need the ability for access food, water, clean air, power and electricity, and petrol to move your automobile so you can travel to see your friends, your loved ones, all that. So there's certain things that I think everybody should be taking step towards in protecting themselves. And I'll touch on it briefly here, and I'll go into it much more deeper in my webinar in August. So keep an eye out for that. If you're not subscribed to the webinars, hit up my team at admin@beinvestor.com.au. Will be the first. But in short, you want to make sure you've got access to food, right? If you don't fit into this new system, they could literally lock you out and say you can't come to the shop because you haven't worn a mask, right? We can see people locked out of the shop because they don't want to wear a mask, right? I know someone the other day that's got a heart condition. They're working on 25% of their heart is working, and they were in a hospital and they were refused service because they didn't wear a mask, right? And if someone doesn't want to wear a mask, they're not allowed to operate in the world. Imagine how bad it could be if they say you can't eat, you can't travel, you can't do this, you can't do that. Everyone's locked in the home and everyone's loving it. It's like a trial to communism for everyone. But, having access to food, very important. Grow your own food. If you can have a little garden, you can have a little access to veggie patch, whatever the case may be, have access to chickens, work out, get a group of people around you, whether it be someone that can, there might be vegans, there might be vegetarians here, there might be whatever. So apologies from going graphical, but if you need a butcher, right, find yourself a butcher in your community, right? Community is very important. Have a community, right? You don't want to be asking for favors from the toughest guy from the block. You want to be the toughest guy on the block. So make sure that you've got access to someone that could, turn your lamb into dinner, right? Make sure you've got access to fruit and vegetables, plants for your dinner. Make sure you've got access to that. Make sure you've got access to water, right? And you've got backup sources. Make sure you've got access to electricity, and make sure you've got access to commodities that can get you moving throughout a system. Make sure you've got, a property that could be in the bush, right? Like a bug out house. Make sure you've got a property near the water, which you could go to and stay at. Make sure that you've got access to trade, which is old school money, right? And I'm not talking about the money, the currency that we use. I'm talking about real money, so gold and silver sort of coins. So one of the things that I did a long while ago was I actually started buying tons and tons and tons of old pennies and 1 and 2 cent pieces before the copper prices went up. So worst case scenario is I actually bought old school money, which had physical metal value and content to it for cheaper than the spot price. So I just picked it up for basically the face value, and now I've got it stored everywhere. Like, this stuff is literally like in all these storage facilities, having access to old 1 and 2 cent pieces, right? They're very hard to store, so you've got to put them in security sort of places on pallets, and you need to have forklifts to it and stuff like that if you want to go on scale. But everyone should have some money. Like, imagine if you couldn't trade using a digital app or whatever the case may be, and you wanted to trade and barter with someone. You want to have something that people might accept. So having old school money is one good thing. Second thing is having access to cryptocurrencies, and I'm not talking about no Fed coin, because that's shit. Like, I do not want to participate in that in whatsoever. If I was given money in that new currency, in that digital currency that they're going to be using and rolling out, I would be wanting to get rid of that as quick as possible and converting it to some other form of currency. So having stuff like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all those sort of cryptocurrencies that we see out there, legacy sort of Genesis ones. I'm not talking about buying them to invest and try and get a Lambo or see them 100 times their value. I'm just talking about being able to trade and say, hey, look, I want 10 litres of petrol so I can put in my truck. can I get 10 litres? And they say, no, you don't have anything I can have as value. I'll be like, well, can I just send you a little bit of cryptocurrency and you give me the petrol? I'll be like, yeah, cool, I'll take that. So having access to barterability is very, very important. Protect yourself going out of this system, because our currency that we've got is going to, in 10 years, I know it will look like that, because there's no other way, no other exit for this system that we're in, is that they will crash our currency. Our currency will lose all its value. You have a $5 note.